In this video, I'm going to show you how to automate calling workflows using n8n inside Superu. Whether you want to trigger calls, get call analytics, or build powerful automation sequences, Superu's Workflows feature makes it simple. Let's get started. Head over to the left sidebar and click on Workflows under the Build section. This is the Workflows overview page. Here you can see all your existing workflows, credentials, and data tables. Next, let's take a look at the Credentials tab. Here you can see all the connected accounts and integrations. These credentials are what allow your workflows to securely communicate with external services. Now let's click on Executions. The Executions tab gives you a full log of every time your workflow has run, showing you the status, timestamp, runtime, and execution ID. This is super useful for debugging and making sure everything is running smoothly. Now let's head over to Variables. The Variables tab allows you to store and reuse data across your workflows. Note that variables are immutable, meaning they can't be changed from within the workflow itself. Now let's click on Data Tables. This is the Data Tables section. You can use data tables to persist execution results, share data between workflows, and track metrics for evaluation. We don't have any tables yet, so let's go ahead and head back to the Workflows tab to start building. Now let's create our first workflow. Click on Create Workflow in the top right corner to get started. You'll land on the Workflow editor. To begin building, click the plus icon in the center to add your first step. A panel will appear on the right asking, what triggers this workflow? You can choose from a variety of triggers, manually, on a schedule, via a webhook, a form submission, or even when called by another workflow. Pick whichever fits your use case. For example, I've selected Trigger Manually, which lets you run the workflow by simply clicking a button in n8n. This is great for testing and getting started quickly. Now that the trigger node is placed, click the plus icon on the right side of the node to add the next step in your workflow. Clicking on AI will allow you to build autonomous agents, summarize or search documents, and more. You have AI templates to get started quickly with pre-built flows, AI agent to create autonomous agents that can plan and execute tasks, Anthropic, Google Gemini agents, then guardrails to protect your prompts from malicious input, OpenAI to work with GPT and image generation, basic LLM chain for simple prompt and response flows, and information extractor to pull structured data from text. There's a lot of flexibility here depending on what you want to build. Now let's click on Action in an app. This category lets you connect your workflow to hundreds of external apps and services, like Google Sheets, Telegram, Notion, and many more. Inside Action in an app, you'll find a massive library of integrations. From ActiveCampaign and Acuity scheduling, to Adalo, Agent CI, and even Agent 700. There are hundreds of apps you can connect to and interact with directly from your workflow. Just search for the app you need and plug it right in. Next, let's explore data transformation. This category is all about manipulating, filtering, and converting your data as it flows through your workflow. Inside data transformation, you'll find some really useful nodes. Under Popular, you have code to run custom JavaScript or Python, date and time to manipulate time values, and edit fields to modify or remove item fields. Under Add or Remove items, there's Filter to remove items matching a condition, Limit to restrict the number of items, remove duplicates, and split out to turn a list into separate items. And under Combine items, you have Aggregate to merge data from many items into one. These nodes give you full control over your data. There's also the Flow category, which lets you control the logic and direction of your workflow. You can branch, merge, or loop the flow depending on conditions. This is great for building more advanced automations where different paths need to be taken based on specific outcomes. Now let's click on Core. This is where you'll find the more technical, foundational nodes that power your workflow behind the scenes. Inside Core, under Popular, you have code to run custom JavaScript or Python, data table to permanently save data across workflow executions, HTTP request to call any external API and return the response, and webhook to trigger your workflow when an HTTP request is received. Under Other, there's Execute Sub-Workflow for calling other n8n workflows in a modular way, execution data to add extra context for search, FTP to transfer files, and n8n to handle events and perform actions on your own n8n instance. These are the building blocks that give your workflows real power. There's also a human review node, which lets you pause the workflow and request approval from a human via services like Slack or Telegram before any tool calls are made. This is perfect for workflows, where you want a human in the loop before taking important actions. And finally, you can also add another trigger to your workflow. This means a single workflow can be started by multiple trigger sources, giving you even more flexibility in how and when your automations run. You'll also notice some quick action buttons at the top of the canvas. From here, you can execute your workflow, deactivate it, delete it, or even get help from n8n's AI assistant directly inside the editor. All right, now that we've explored the editor, let's start fresh and build a real workflow from scratch. We're going to create an automation that automatically calls leads after they submit a form. Let's go. For our trigger, select On Form Submission. This will generate a form in n8n and automatically pass the submitted responses into your workflow. Perfect for capturing leads. Once the trigger is set up, you'll see the form configuration panel. Here you can add form fields and set when the workflow responds. You'll also notice two URLs at the top: a test URL for testing and a production URL for your live form. Go ahead and copy the production URL. This is the link you'll share with your leads. You can also set up authentication for your form if needed. You can choose between basic auth or leave it as none for a publicly accessible form. Next, give your form a title. This is what your leads will see at the top of the form. Something clear like "Sign up for a demo call." Then add a form description to give your leads a bit of context. For example, "After you fill in all the details, we'll contact you soon." Now it's time to add your form fields. Click on Add Form Element to start building out the fields your leads will fill in. For each form element, type in the label. This is the question or field name your lead will see, like "What's your name?" Here is where you choose input types. For the first field, select Text Input. This will be used to collect the lead's name. Once your first field is set, click Add Form Element again to add more fields to your form. Type in the label for your second field, something like "Enter your number with country code." For the phone number field, select Number as the input type, so only numeric values can be entered. Here I'm adding another field. You'll also need to set the Respond When option. You can choose between Form is submitted, which triggers the workflow immediately upon submission, or Workflow Finishes, which waits until the entire workflow has completed. Choose whichever fits your use case best. Now that your form is fully configured with a title, description, and fields, go ahead and click Execute Step to test the trigger and pull in a sample form submission. Once you submit a test form, the output will appear on the right side of the screen, showing you exactly the data that was captured, like the lead's name, phone number, and any other fields you set up. Great, the form trigger is working. Now close the output panel and let's move on to adding the next step in our workflow. Click the plus icon on the form submission node to add the next action in the workflow. In the search bar, type Superu and you'll see the Superu Voice AI node appear. Inside the Superu Voice AI node, you'll see two available actions: Start an outbound call and Fetch analytics for a call. Click on Start an outbound call. This is what will automatically dial your lead right after they submit the form. You'll notice that the Superu API credentials are already automatically applied, so there's no extra setup needed there. You can also see the input data from the form submission coming through on the left, including the lead's name, phone number, and responses. Under the Operation dropdown, you have 3 options: Initialize call to start an outbound call, Get call analytics to fetch data about a call, and Custom API call for more advanced use cases. Choose the one that fits what you need. For our example use case, click on Initialize Call. This is the operation that will actually trigger the outbound call to your lead as soon as the form is submitted. Now select the AI agent you want to handle the call. You'll see a drop-down with all the agents you've already created in Superu. Pick the one that fits your use case, whether that's a lead qualification agent, a booking agent, or any other. The campaign ID field is optional. You only need it if you want to associate this call with a specific campaign. For a basic setup, you can leave it blank and move on. For the to phone number field, drag the form label to the field, and the number will be automatically assigned to call towards. For the from phone number, select the number you previously purchased on the Superu platform. This is the number your leads will see when they receive the call. Everything is configured: the agent, the phone numbers, and the customer name mapped from the form. Now click Execute Step to test the full outbound call and see it in action. The call has been initiated successfully. Next, let's add one more step to fetch the call analytics so we can track what happened during the call. Click the plus icon and search for Superu Voice AI again to add another node to the workflow. This time, select Fetch Analytics for a call. This will pull back all the data and insights from the call that was just made. Once the call UUID is dragged to the field, everything is done. Now click Execute Step again to run this node and retrieve the call analytics. And there's the output. You can view the call analytics in 3 formats: schema, table, or JSON. You'll see details like the call transcript, start and end times, success status, and more, giving you full visibility into how the conversation went. And there you have it, a fully working automated calling workflow. When a lead submits the form, Superu automatically initializes an outbound call using your AI agent, and then fetches the call analytics right after. 3 nodes, fully connected, and completely automated. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore everything Superu has to offer, visit our website and get started today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment if you have any questions. We'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one.